Peace and greetings, YouTubers. It's live, pal. I'll do more showing than telling here. Examine what David Filoni, the Lucasfilm president of creative, that's not his official title, but this guy was talking about how Baylon Skoll, the character, needed to continue after the tragic passing of the actor Ray Stevenson. Baylon Skoll was cast, and here's him at a convention in a crowd with a whole bunch of people in front of him. Thousands are listening, millions if you consider the internet's reach. This is what he answered and how he talked about it. Ray Stevenson died in 2023, 2 years ago.
Ray was the most beautiful person on screen and off. He was wonderful to all of us. However big a loss you think it is, it's bigger. And it was a challenge for me to even consider continuing for a while.
That is so telling to me because it's just true that when something happens, man, I don't even want to continue. It's a challenge for me to continue. It's going to be a difficult thing to happen to keep going. Now, why did he not? Why did he not succumb to some of those feelings? What was so what was it?
But I have a great support group with John and Rosario. And I found a way, and I had Ray in my head. And grateful for all the conversations with him about Baylon.
Okay.
So I understood.
He had conversations about him and Baylon. Now make that also he's directing Ahsoka, right? Make that also for Ryan Coogler. You're directing Black Panther. You had many conversations with Chadwick Boseman. You just revealed in an interview that he was in Mexico City scouting. That he was there on a business. For everyone else, it was a vacation. That was a work trip for him, and he's trying to analyze, okay, how is this going to go in the next movie? He still intended for the movie to be made. He knew he was sick. You didn't. He knew he was sick, and he knew that this movie needed to be done. Put yourself, Ryan Coogler, in the shoes of Dave Filoni, and then ask yourself, and not just Ryan, but everyone, Nate, Kevin Feige, ask why Dave Filoni went through with it.
What to do. It just took a while to get there. But I'm very confident now that Ray would be happy with the direction that we've chosen. Spoke to his family about it because they were so important to Ray.
Now, again, I'm going to ask you to do the same with Chadwick Boseman. I'd be happy with what Chadwick Boseman decided, how Chadwick Boseman would feel with this. We spoke to Chad's family. I've heard his widow say that she would want the character to continue. She knows he would want it to continue. I heard her brother say to continue. It's not that difficult. The parallels are identical, and Dave Filoni here is talking about it very thoughtfully and why it was the right thing to do. And it doesn't sound like he rushed, does it?
Every day that we were working. And so we've continued because the character was meant to be important. He's meant to be the parallel to Ahsoka in every way.
Because this character was meant to be important. He's meant to be the peer of the Supermans, of the Spider-Mans, and the Thor and Captain Americas. Is T'Challa important? How many characters break through? Black characters. How many characters who've got a skin color that is not the one that Dave Filoni has on screen make it? And how special do we have to treat that? And how and appreciate them and not discard them? Like, if you stopped using him for one movie, fine. Make the second movie about his sister. We understand everyone was already scheduled, and it's hard to move movies. And all right, go. The second movie of Black Panther is going to be about his sister becoming the Panther King. And you don't just get rid of T'Challa. You don't kill the character. That's how you be. That was stupid. And that's not what Dave Filoni did. He didn't say in the first episode of Ahsoka, Baylon Skoll dies.
If there's a light, there's a dark, and
Okay.
Baylon is representing a different journey for a Jedi that's lost his way as much as you
He represents a different journey for a superhero.
represent one that's kind of walked away from the order. So did he, and that parallel is something that must continue.
The parallel between the American superheroes or any other colonized nation superhero versus Wakanda must continue.
And yeah, I just kept hearing Ray, and I followed that, and it led us to the idea of bringing someone else in to play the part.
So if you were just hearing Chadwick Boseman, I know you did not hear him say, when I die, kill the character too. Make sure that no one gets to play him after me. That you're not hearing Chad. You're not understanding the mission that he was on, started by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, of course, but the mission that was making this character elevated, propping him up to where he becomes a constant, a household name. That's Chad's mission. T'Challa getting bigger. That's why he played the role, to make T'Challa bigger. That's why he wanted to do Guardians of the Galaxy, the What If. What would it look like to be in space? He was trying to put an image out there, and I don't think if you were listening to Chad's voice, the way that Dave Filoni, is listening to Ray Stevenson, you make those same decisions to not feature the character anymore in video games, in animation, in some comic books now, and just the way they're dragging the character in the mud.
In essence, because Ray had performed it so iconically, there's a blueprint for what this character should be.
Beautiful.
And then I talked with John, and John and I decided that we just needed to find the right person that would not just understand the character, but also understand a bit of what Ray brought to it as well.
I'm just saying, why can't that also apply for Chadwick Boseman? Chadwick Boseman provided the blueprint. You're robbing him of that. And you can talk to Jon Favreau for Marvel also. He's someone who's going to understand it.
It's something imperceptible, something just in the eyes, really, to be honest. And I think we both felt very fortunate that things pointed towards, and we met Rory McCann.
The new actor.
Rory will be taking over the role of Baylon.
Oh my God. Is that applause? What? Fellas, ladies, gentlemen, fans, listeners, all they said was the name of the new actor, and people with a polite little applause. Ray Stevenson died 2 years ago. 2 years. Actually, the gap between Wakanda Forever and Chadwick Boseman's death was 2 years. The whole "it's too soon" BS, like, it's just Dave understood it. Dave explained it. The audience was willing to accept it. The majority of people understand that the death was a sad part of this production, of this this season, but the characters move forward. We even got someone who's going to understand representation properly in Damson Idris. We got representation in Aldous Hodge, who's a smart man who takes roles for the right reasons. We've got Jonathan Majors. I guess that doesn't count. He plays Kang, right? But you can find an actor out there who you can be like, yeah, he's actually he's done a movie with Chad one time. He's gonna be perfect for this, and he understands. He's gonna live on. He's gonna live like intentionally with what Chad did. I used the wrong word, not intentionally. He's going to mirror Chad. He's going to further the Chad message. All you got to do is say something like that. A whole bunch of people were willing to accept it. Why would a Comic-Con be any different? But Marvel doesn't have the balls to do that. They haven't done that. They haven't done that. I challenge them to do that, but they're Marvel. Do you see what's going on over the last 5 years since Endgame? You got some hits for sure. Let me not do too much, but just the thought of you'll announce that there's a new actor when we're watching what's going on in Star Wars over Celebration in Japan. Yeah, there's a new actor. His name is Rory McCann. Like unprompted, he didn't even look to the crowd and it's like, "You guys like it?" They just sort of clapped on their own. I'm gonna rewind it to the beginning of the claps.
Will be taking over the role of Baylon.
They just started clapping. He'll be taking on the role of Baylon, and the people were like, "Yeah, Baylon gets to continue. We like it." They were listening attentively the whole time. What did my live chat say? Show it up. Professor the Film Fan. I hope you guys don't hear the background noise. Professor Film says good afternoon. So he's not actually talking about T'Challa. You're just making a comparison. Absolutely. Yeah. Read the thumbnail. The thumbnail said how it's done. Yeah, I'm making a comparison. Chi-Town. I wasted a view and time. Bye. Before I leave, I want a comment section to know that Invincible Fight Girl is 50 times better than Iyanu. I would have had my Iyanu live stream yesterday night, but I was busy going to see the film, the IMAX film, Sinners, Ryan Coogler. I saw it in IMAX 77 millimeters and they gave you the souvenir on the way out. They should, because the ticket was so gosh darn expensive. But yeah, it was definitely good representation in that movie. It was Blue's House even says Invincible Fight Girl. Ianu live streams and conversations coming up with me and Blue. Okay. RW Chi-Town, thank you for coming. Thank you for leaving. Also, I don't want your energy in here. Oh, I thought I did it. I wrote in the title, Dave Filoni unintentionally speaks for Recast T'Challa. I did not falsely advertise this at all. Your time was not being wasted when you came over here and you clicked on Chill's video. Thank you, live chat, for being here. Back to this applause that they were doing. It was a long one.
And John knows too, speaking to Rory, and he spoke with Rosario, he takes it very seriously. He takes it very to heart. Rory's a big man with a big heart, and he has such respect for Ray and what Ray brought to this, that I know his whole focus is not letting Ray down and not letting you guys down. So he really feels it. So you'll love him. And we love him now, and I love what he's taking on, because it's a big deal. So the force is with him, and I know you guys will be too. So thank you.
They didn't even need that. You didn't even need to prompt them with that. They were already willing to clap for this new actor before you gave him the, he'll honor what Chadwick Boseman did. I'm sorry, I meant to say Raven Stevenson. No, I didn't. I meant to say Chadwick Boseman.
It led us to
here.
The idea of,
I'm rewinding because this is important. I'm going to show a parallel between what my boy, your boy, Kevin Feige said years back.
His portrayal of T'Challa, the Black Panther, is iconic and
transcends any iteration
in any other medium from Marvel's past.
Okay.
It's for that reason that we will not recast the character.
He gave you the reason that he will not recast the character because he transcended any iteration. He was the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep him down. Now, here's what Dave Filoni said. It's the same thing, but a different end result.
Bringing someone else in to play the part. In essence, because Ray had performed it so iconically, there's a blueprint for what this character should be.
His portrayal of T'Challa, the Black Panther, is iconic.
There's a blueprint for what this character should be. In essence, because Ray had performed it so iconically.
I was looking for the word iconically. I just didn't rewind to the right moment. Iconically. He did it so iconically, thankfully, that there's a blueprint for what the character can be. Well, Chad played the character so iconically, you gotta fucking kill him. What are you gonna do, bro? Can't have this man alive anymore. Great representation that comes once in a millennia that we've never had. A character, the top black character in the history of cinema, and just let's get rid of him. That's how good he did, bro. You know how good he did? Shit, no one else can do this good. I just don't understand that logic. Hollywood doesn't understand that logic. Albus Dumbledore's death happened, Ray Stevenson's death happened, but your own studio just had William Hurt die, and we had my boy Harrison Ford, who's an awesome guy. Don't get me wrong, and I'm sure there was no issues there, bro. Go find the Harrison Ford of T'Challa actors. His focus is not to let Ray and the fans down. Why would you look at that? I got you, Blue. I probably read it exactly the way you wrote it too. Listen to some of the other answers.
What are the chances we see the character of T'Challa in the MCU moving forward? And what is it like having to balance loyalty to a fan base and to a performer as regal and elegant as Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah.
Along with the future of that franchise, that character, and of Wakanda.
Let's go, executive producer.
It's a great question.
This is Nate Moore. This is from 2021.
I will say the chances that you see T'Challa in our, I'm not hedging my bets. I'm being quite honest. T'Challa you will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it. I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation.
Why was it a fast conversation? Did Dave Filoni make a fast conversation? Didn't he say when he started what he was talking about? He started with saying about how it was this. Let me just quote. Let me not do that. Let me just find the exact quote, because he made it seem like it was something that he had to sit on and how it didn't feel right at first.
And on screen and off, he was wonderful to all of us.
Okay.
However big a loss you think it is, it's bigger.
That's basically what Nate Moore said.
And it was a challenge for me to even consider continuing for a while.
So if it was a challenge for you to even consider for a while, it must mean that you didn't just on a 5-minute spur of the. It's going to take minutes to decide this one. It's going to be done in under an hour. Listen to Dave Filoni talk about how it was a challenge for a while.
What are along with?
To be quite honest, in the MCU 616 universe, we couldn't do it. I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler.
Real.
About what do we do?
And it was a fast conversation. Well, Dave Filoni didn't have the fast conversation. He consulted with Rosario. He consulted with Jon Favreau. He was challenged by it. He did the uncomfortable thing. He sat with it. He didn't make a spur of moment decision or however quickly you guys decided to just, nix the greatest black character we've ever had.
It wasn't weeks. It was minutes of, we have to figure out how to move this franchise on without that character, because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa in the MCU on the screen, not in comics, right? Is tied to Chadwick's performance.
That is very true. So much of the character of Baylon Skoll is tied to Ray Stevenson. It is not even a comic book character. But that's him laying the blueprint of what the character is supposed to be for somebody else to continue doing it.
Is what he brought to that role, both on and off screen, I would argue. So as hard as it is narratively to figure out what to do, because it's a big hole, at no point did we consider recasting him. So the challenge for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is telling a story without T'Challa. And I think it's a challenge we're up.
Nah, the challenge for Dave Filoni was just getting to the recast. And they will continue telling the story with a new actor playing Dave Filoni's character he created, which is Baylon Skoll. Jack Kirby's character that he created, which is T'Challa, which is the Black Panther, and it's not no stupid little mantle. The way that they try to make you think that, technically it's a mantle, and in the comics, we need to replace. It happened in the comics with. So was it successful in the comics? It was successful in the comics when Falcon stopped being Falcon to become Captain America. All those all sold well. They went over 100 issues with Falcon not calling himself Falcon. We got to replace that. That's a different tangent. I think the next thing to show you would be Ryan Coogler. It's been my truth that we had to kill T'Challa. So let's find that clip and get that open for you. Anyone have any comments to write? Because this was very telling, bro. This was the Dave Filoni industry standard. We did it with Dumbledore. We did it with. Well, they're going to do it with Brian. They definitely didn't kill Brian from Fast and Furious. O'Connor. Where we at?
It makes it kind of easier to deny things. You know what I'm saying? Like you think like, man, it's a hoax or somebody say X, Y, and Z, and let me text him, let me call him. You know what I'm saying? So I texted him. And then I told Denzel, man, hey, check and see if it's a rumor. He was like, I should do that. So he checked, he called me back. He was like, yo, it's not a rumor. And then I thought about all of that in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, we got to push through.
There was a lot of sadness and a lot of crying. But there was something beautiful in seeing these two families he'd pulled together go on and make Wakanda forever.
Here it is.
Different.
Here it is.
They would have to mourn Chad while telling a story which had been defined by him.
No one asked you to mourn Chad in the story. You could have just recasted. And you wouldn't have had to put all the actors through a traumatic experience of reliving their friend's death and coming to work every day to be featured in a project that reminds them so much of their friend's death, their coworker's death, if they're not friends, the person they respect.
So I think this leads to something, and that is, and this is kind of why I wanted you to talk about that. Like, you talking about somebody that was a steward
of a character, a steward of a world, a steward of a franchise.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody that had a very particular relationship that actually went beyond lead actor, both with you as the director and writer.
Yeah.
Joe as the writer also, with
Yeah.
the cast and crew. It was more than that. You just made the point about how if there wasn't some real feel in the family, the movie doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so I just want you to just talk a little bit about whether you even considered the possibility of recasting a T'Challa, what that would have meant.
First time he was out.
Yeah.
To ask an actor to come in to fill that role, which, as you described, is a little bit more than a lot more than just the role as a lead actor.
Yeah, it's a great question, man. I mean, like, you consider everything, like, you know, like when something like that happens, like it's like I was like, I don't know if I don't think I could come back and make another one. I don't think I could do this. Like, I don't think there should be another one. You know, you go through all like.
I don't think there should be another one. Is wild. Greatest black character that's ever happened. And he laughed as he said it because he knows how ridiculous that was. But that's just a stupid ass thing. How is the guy who understands to make this movie? How does this guy not? Emotions, bro. Emotions. I guess he's an emotional guy. I'm gonna respect that. He did a great job with what Michael B did with Smoke and Stack. I liked what I enjoyed myself very much yesterday. And he fumbled. He had a misstep. He got emotional, bro. But what was Ta-Nehisi Coates in this interview? He just said something about the family. The actors are all family. Family members add. We increase. People give birth. People get married, and the family expands that way. The new actor coming in would be part of the family. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he have the chance to become part of the family?
You go through all of the extremes, I would say, and yeah, for me to say that, like, we consider recasting as an option is like, that's a complicated thing to even say, because like
Dave said it.
With these movies, just like my job as a director.
Yeah, with these movies, so hundreds of countless, so many times people have recasted. One time Chadwick Boseman was recasted for Michael B. Jordan. Did you know that?
You know, I don't think people fully appreciate any job that's not their own.
Right.
And that is a very agreeable statement, but you're going to use it to justify killing T'Challa.
Right.
But like the true day-to-day of my job is like, you know, several hundred days of long days.
Yeah.
Of getting other professionals to believe in ideas that I find truthful. You know what I'm saying? Like
that is Dave Filoni's job also.
That's what my job is. I have to believe in something enough to go convince other professionals to believe in it as well for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And the moment that I stop believing in what I'm doing, whatever end product that I'm putting out is cooked.
All right. Thanks for letting us know that you were in year 2022 when Wakanda Forever came out. When 2021, when they were filming. Thank you for informing us that you are not what Dave Filoni is, and that is qualified to do this movie. If you can't do Black Panther without the primary character, you can't do it, you can't believe in doing it, then you just explained to your bosses and every fan and every person who knows who that character is, or anyone who understands lead characters, you just explained you're unqualified and unfit to do this. The entitlement to know that he still got the job, even when he can say, I can't do that. Bro, I'm not good at math. Be the cashier. There's certain prerequisites that you're supposed to do or have before you do something. So you're telling me you can't do T'Challa? That is nuts. And this man was safe. When you gross 1.3 billion in your first go around, I guess that's what that provides you, bro. There's the safety net. No, we can try something new. You know, we can do it with Shuri. It happened in the comics.
Like, it's done. Yeah. It has to be truthful for me. And if there's any element of nope for me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the process, it's my job to weed that out.
So then why did you kill the character? That's a great reason for why the second movie should have been about Shuri. I couldn't do the recast. I'll just make a movie about Shuri. Why did you kill ending him? ensuring that he won't come back. What did Namor say? Namor said, "You will not see him. We're not hedging our bets."
So that I have a fighting chance of putting something out in front of the audience that the audience can believe and not be taken out of for 2 hours.
I would believe.
You know what I'm saying? While they eating their popcorn and next to strangers or while they at the house and their kids is doing X, Y, and Z.
People believed that when William Hurt died and turned into the Red Hulk with Harrison Ford, it was very believable the popcorn was eaten.
They have to believe in some kernel of truth that's happening on that screen. You know what I'm saying? And
hold on 1 second. I see Phil. I'm gonna give him an invitation link if you want to pop in. I don't have you on Twitter, but I'm gonna let you speak to me in person. Steve says, "Hey yo, what more does Marvel need to see in order to recast T'Challa?" I don't know, bro, but the Dave Filoni stuff is very, very comparable. It's very like you can look at that and you can say it's the same thing. Any brother playing T'Challa would be incredibly honored to take up the baton, since the character is huge, and they'd probably be motivated to do Chadwick proud from sharing the role alone. Move on, dude. Dude, I would love to talk to you about this, and maybe I can change your mind, or at least hear you out. He is a YouTuber who I've had here before, and I'm open to conversation with you, unfiltered. More from my boy 2 years ago. He's got like another minute of answering.
My truth is Chad was gone.
Yeah.
From the physical sense, he wasn't walking through that door.
Ray Stevenson was gone.
In the world that we created over the years,
yeah,
he was the guy.
So was Ray Stevenson. He was Baylon Skoll, and to Dave Filoni, that's how it was. And he got over it in 2 years.
For somebody else to be him, you know what I mean? For us in the world that we created, we wouldn't have believed it. No matter how good the actor was, no matter how, you know what I'm saying? It would have been lacking the necessary truth for us to do a good job. And the truth is the well that we pull from as artists. You know, our truth was lost, you know, which is a fact of life. It's the gift and the curse of life. Heroes, great men die. You know?
No, I don't know. It just goes quiet. You know? Like he didn't get the agreement he was looking for, bro. Phil, are you still here? Move on, dude. I don't want to move on. This is very racial, my friend. This is about people who are melanated but have historically through film been depicted in negative ways. Finally, a character is a positive role model and an inspirational one, and stereotype defying. He is anti-stereotype. He ensures, you know, if you spend 2 hours with this character and he becomes a normal part of superhero zeitgeist, the people who saved the world, if he's being seen by that from international audiences, that effect may seep down and affect the people's minds and untrain them from what, unprogram them from what may have already been programmed or is being programmed, you know, if they're kids. This character is important to have. I'm not going to move on from that. I'm going to observe what happened with Daredevil and how Daredevil was saved based off of a fan campaign. There's times where people spoke up about, hey, Sonic looks ugly Sonic, and people talked enough about it where the studio would have listened. And when you just had the racial component to it, like there's to say move on, dude, it's tone deaf. If you're still here, I'm sure maybe he just wrote move on, dude, and ran away. I don't know. Andre Ware says the truth is this was a fictional character that Chadwick played, and fictional characters don't have to die. That's the truth, bro. And these are professional actors, professionals. They can pretend something that isn't. They can pretend something that isn't is. It's not the same, bro. Roberta, what's going on? I think that Dave Filoni speech, which we began with earlier in the stream, was just awesome. It's everything that Marvel needed to hear, especially the part where the fans all applaud. So I'm chilling. I'm out. That's the message. We'll keep it under 30 seconds, under 30 minutes. Thank you for coming. Thumbs me up if you haven't already.